Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, today my lecture is about soil erosion. What is soil erosion? Okay, the removal of the upper layer of the soil due to pressure of wind or due to water, that is known as soil erosion. Dear students, we know that topsoil of any soil is the most fertile part of the soil. But sometimes winds, sometimes water that remove the topsoil, reducing the productivity of the soil in that area. So we can say that removing of the topsoil by blowing winds and by flowing water, that is called soil erosion. This soil erosion is mostly caused due to the activities of man. Due to the activities of the man, there is the imbalance in the nature. Okay, due to the activities of the man, there is imbalance in the nature and soil erosion takes place. Different activities are performed by the man, like deforestation, overgrazing by animals, rainfalls and flood, improper farming, that are responsible for the soil erosion. We will discuss about how deforestation, how overgrazing, how improper farming leads to soil erosion, and how we prevent soil erosion, how prevention of soil erosion takes place. Okay, deforestation, cutting of trees and plants from a large part of the land, that is called deforestation. What is deforestation? Cutting of trees and the plants from large part of the land, that's known as deforestation. We know that cutting of the trees and the plants loosen the hold of the roots on the soil. Roots hold the soil, but when we cut down those trees, when we cut down plants, that hold of the roots on the soil is loosened. This makes soil loose and it easily get carried away by the winds or it easily get carried away by the water. We know that roots, they can't prepare their own food. In plants, mainly or we can say mostly the food is prepared by the green leaves. Sometimes some plants they have green stem, they also prepare their own food, but mostly leaves prepare their own food. And after that, that food is transported to the each and every part of the plant and to roots also. When we cut down the plants, when we cut down the trees, roots cannot get their food, so they get damaged or they die and they loosen their hold on the soil. So this makes loosen soil and it gets easily carried away by the wind and the water. So we can say deforestation is one of the factors that leads to the soil erosion. Second is overgrazing. When animals are made to graze on the same land repeatedly, it is called overgrazing. Okay, when animals they are made to graze on the same land repeatedly again and again, it leads to the soil erosion or it is called soil erosion. What happens due to soil erosion? The land is not allowed to grow more. Due to overgrazing, the land is not allowed to grow more grasses and the land becomes naked. When there does not allowed, when the land is not allowed to grow more grasses, that land becomes naked and this naked land is prone to the soil erosion by winds and water. Okay, so we can say that overgrazing is also one of the factors that leads to soil erosion. Okay, rainfall and floods. Excessive rainfall, sometimes excessive rainfall. Okay, sometimes there is excessive rainfall that causes the topsoil to get drained away with water. It also causes floods which wash away the top fertile land due to erosion. This also leads to the soil erosion. Improper farming is also one of the factors that leads to the soil erosion. Dear students, we know that if improper if farming is not done properly, or if improper farming is done in the fields, the soil becomes prone to erosion. Dry soil is swept away by the winds. This factor is more prominent in hilly areas when farming is done on hills. When farming is done on hills, dry soil that is swept away by the winds. Okay? Improper preparation of steps for farming on the hills can also make soil loose, which can be easily eroded by winds and water. So we can say that the deforestation, overgrazing, floods and heavy rainfall, improper farming, all the factors that are responsible for the soil erosion. Deforestation is cutting down of trees and plants. Overgrazing in when we made animals to graze again and again repeatedly. Okay, rainfall, excessive rainfall takes place, or that leads to the floods that get drained away topsoil of that area with water. And improper farming, this improper farming is mostly takes in the place in hilly areas. Dear students, how this soil erosion can be prevented? What are the activities we should do by which soil erosion does not take place? Dear students, soil erosion can be prevented by checking the factors causing it. We have to check those factors by which soil erosion takes place. First, we have to plant more trees and we have to cut less trees. Okay, we have to plant more trees and we have to cut less trees. If we plant more trees, then there does not take place any soil erosion. Okay, overgrazing in same patch of land should be avoided. Overgrazing in the same patch of land that should be avoided, and after that soil does not become naked when we cannot overgraze a land repeatedly, so that there does not occur soil erosion. Okay, so we can say that overgrazing in a same patch of the land should be avoided. Third, terrace farming should be adopted in hilly areas. Okay, so we can say that soil erosion can be prevented by checking the factors causing it. That is, overgrazing of animals should be controlled. Animals should be made to graze on different parts of the land. Okay, alternatively, so that a part is allowed to revive with plantation simultaneously. Okay, third, plants should be planted regularly to match with deforestation, and this is called afforestation. Planting more trees is called afforestation. Terrace farming on hill areas will control the erosion in these areas. In terrace farming, the slopes of the hills are cut into steps. The slope of the hill that is cut into steps. These steps do not allow the soil to flow away by reducing the speed of the water. When there is terrace farming in the hilly areas, which controls the erosion in those areas, okay, what happens in terrace farming? In terrace farming, the slopes of the hills are cut into steps. The slopes are cut into steps, and these steps does not allow the soil to flow away by reducing the speed of the water. These steps reduces the speed of the water by which that soil cannot flow away with water. So we can do terrace farming, or we can cut the slopes into steps in the hilly areas. So the factors that leads to the soil erosion, that is deforestation, overgrazing, floods and heavy rainfall, and improper farming. And what are the preventive measures? We have to afforestation. We have to do afforestation, plant more trees and cut less trees. We have to overgrazing in the same patch should be avoided. That should be avoided, and terrace farming should be adopted in the hilly areas. These are the factors by which we can prevent soil erosions. Okay. One more topic is that is soil pollution. Dear students, contamination of top layer of soil making soil unfit for cultivation. That is called soil pollution. What is soil pollution? The top layer of the soil that get contaminated, okay, that get contaminated and that soil become unfit for the cultivation. The crops does not grow in the soil. We cannot plant any tree. We cannot plant any plant there, okay. That leads to the soil pollution. That factor, what are the factors that leading to soil pollution? Wherein various human activities and product human activities and products pollute the soil. These pollutants destroy the fertility of the soil and harm the organisms in the soil. Some organisms are there which can degrade or decompose the dead leaves or the dead plants that get changed into humus. When humus make the topmost soil fertile, when those microorganisms and those organisms get died, they can't change those dead materials and dead plants and dead animal remains into the humus. So human activities are mostly responsible for the soil pollution, and due to those the fertility of the soil reduces, destroys. These human activities destroys the fertility of the soil, and the organisms which are beneficial they also get destroyed. This is all about the soil pollution and soil erosion.